What if I told you that you could actually start a scout unit with 3 adults and 3 youth? Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about this new thing that scouting has. This question was brought up by a regular viewer, Big Country, right there, wants to know about the 3x3 micro units, and that's pretty small. 3x3 is pretty small. This is something that started, I believe it was in the summer of 2024. They started the idea, and this is something that has come up, and I think it's actually getting off the ground. They're kind of going from that experimental phase into implement phase. So you have to check with your council. But the concept is amazing, and this is something new, and it fills a lot of different things in scouting. And it's also a very hot topic with Scouting America. In the past, there were certain requirements to have the minimums for a unit. This is so that they can actually help scouts join a unit that's just forming, it's just starting out. And that way they can kind of build as they go. But that's the minimum requirements, is 3 adults and 3 youth. Now, if you're in a traditional situation, your council doesn't do the 3x3. If you're in that traditional situation, there's the video for you, okay? But check this out. This is a great idea. It's new. Now, one of the big things, what the intentions are with a 3x3, is that units just starting up have difficulties getting their committees together, getting a chartered organization together. It is difficult for especially smaller units to really put those together. This is very difficult, especially if the unit is located in a rural area where they're spread out very far, and they may not have those capabilities at that moment. Now, down the road they might, but right at the beginning, they miss out because they don't get served the scouting program. That's the sad thing. You have to have a scout unit. There has to be a scout unit in order for scouts to get the scouting program. So it has fallen on the idea that with 3x3, you have 3 adults. The 3 adults don't have to worry about committee. They don't have to worry about a chartered organization because the council does that. That's the neat thing about a 3x3. So it's actually a unit that's part of the council. And there are some limitations, and there are some advantages to that. So the 3x3 is really focused on the leadership to the youth, and that's the wonderful thing. Now, a big part of that is that when the unit gets together and they start getting a chartered organization available, they start getting a committee put together, because people naturally gravitate to things that are there. And that's the neat thing about a 3x3. It starts that process. And usually within a year, that unit has grown. They have more than 3 leaders. They have more than 3 youth. That's the neat thing about it. They grow. And as they grow, they become independent from the council. So this is a wonderful thing. It gives them a start, a structure, and then they can grow as a unit. It's a great idea, and they've been working on it for some time. So it is just now getting started. So you have to communicate with your council to find out if this is even an option. Some councils have so many units, they just put those scouts in those units. That's the thing. But if they're working in an area that's extremely large, like a large council, and it's very remote areas, instead of having all the small lone scouts, you could actually put them together as a unit within the council. And that's a wonderful thing. Now this helps within the servicing of the scouting program to the youth. And the youth might be homeschooled, they might be in that environment, and a 3x3 unit works really well. They might be in a rural area. They might be lone scouts or potential lone scouts that actually can actually benefit by being in a consolidated unit, a real unit. 3x3 is a real unit, and that is a very good thing. And it could also be something simple like after school, or even a religious school environment might be great for a 3x3 unit to get started. And this does provide a lot of benefits. You have a structure there. Even though it's very small, a micro unit of 3x3 is very small, but it can grow. It has the potential. That's the wonderful thing about it. And it will grow as a unit. It will get bigger. It will definitely get chartered. It'll definitely leave the auspice of the council and actually be an independent unit. And from there, it's just recruitment and building it up. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you're invited to the campfire chat. Now, this is our live meeting we have each month on the first Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a fantastic way to get involved with live chat, and we have special guests. We have all kinds of neat things that go on. So definitely check that out. I also want to thank all of the Patreon members of this channel. In addition to that, I also want to thank all of the channel members right here on this channel. They have a fantastic group of people on this channel. They get a lot of perks. They get a lot of little icons and all kinds of neat stuff. But definitely check that out. If you're interested in becoming a member, definitely hit the little join button. It'll tell you more information. That's a great way to make this channel even better. Make it a part of what you do. And I'm so proud of you. We're just gonna jump right back in. Now, how does it work in practice? This is something, in a regular unit, you have a committee and you have your charter and you have a lot of that structure. With this 3x3, the one thing that's in there is that all of these things, like a committee and a charter, is handled by your council. Now, it's not a stopgap. It's not where you end up if you were a big unit and declined all the way to a 3x3. Okay, that's not how that works. You want to keep your unit alive and growing. 3x3s are seed units, and because of that, the council is actually covering some of those structures, like your chartered organization, and of course your committee. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, in a pack, the three that would be in a 3x3, the three adults would be in a pack, would be your cub master and two den leaders. Now, in a situation where you're having a troop, you have a scoutmaster and two assistant scoutmasters. Now, in an adventure crew, you would have your crew advisor and the associate advisors, two of them. So that would be a total of three. In a Sea Scout ship, you would have your skipper and two associate advisors. Now, naturally, that 3x3 unit will grow. And this is something that the council will try to promote, try to get involved. And that's one of those things about this. It becomes a seed unit. And that's the neat thing about it. Now, as far as the youth leadership, that really depends on what the type of unit is. A pack, usually your youth are just Cub Scouts, and they might be in different age groups. So that's handled through your den leaders. So that's really the thing for them. For a troop, it's a little bit different. You may have a structure where it's just a patrol leader, and then the other two would be scouts. You might have a senior patrol leader, because that would be the default, because the youth would run that meeting. Those three would run their meeting. And the same thing is true when you're dealing with a crew or a ship or any other type of 3x3 unit. Now, one of the big things is that they are a unit, so they can participate in camporees and all the activities within your council and your district. Micro units are still a unit, and that's the interesting thing about a 3x3 micro unit. They can actually participate in those activities. Now, there might be some problems because they don't have enough scouts or enough adult leaders, so those have to be compensated as far as making sure that you stay 2-deep leadership, that you stay within the requirements of scouting. Because you're a micro unit means you still have to follow all the rules of youth protection training. So that's important. So if you have a 3x3 unit that is, say, a girls' troop, you still have to stay within the youth protection guidelines. So that's a very important thing. It's important because the adults need to be in the right structure and right monitoring, and they need to work together. So it is very close-knit when you have a 3x3 unit, and it's important that you work well together, and you're doing it for the youth so that they can actually achieve and do things. Eventually, in time, a charter will come along. In time, you will build a committee. So that's what happens with all of the micro units. They become a regular unit. Now, there are a lot of challenges that come up when you're dealing with a small unit. Like I addressed earlier, you also have a peer-to-peer. When you only have three scouts, there's not a whole lot of peer-to-peer. So if there's any problems, you have to work those out. So they usually it's brothers or sisters, or a family structure there. So that's the important bit. They need to have that, but they need to also go to these events like a regular troop and do things with other troops and see what that example is, how that senior patrol leader runs that troop. That's very important. How other packs have crossovers and they visit with other troops and things like that. So these are things that are very important to the overall scouting program, no matter the size. So a 3x3 unit has to have that experience, and it can be challenging. Now, there are benefits and opportunities for a micro 3x3 unit, and this is very important to remember. The adults still have to follow the YPT training. They still have to fill out the application. They still have to do the background check. They still have to do all those things. They have to do their online training. These are very important. And when an opportunity comes up in your district, make sure that they attend the physical trainings with all of the different IOLS and all the different things that go on for adult leaders. They need to know some of the scout skills so that the scouts have a trained leader that they can rely on and grow the unit. Now, another big benefit they have is that they can actually come up with a very fluid schedule. We don't recommend that. All the training that's out there says that being consistent is important, and I agree with that. But being a smaller unit, they're more flexible. They can meet on a Tuesday, right after school. They can actually design what they need for the schedule, because of the size of the unit is very small. There's only 6 people in the unit. That's the 3x3 micro unit, and so there is some benefits, but there are lots of opportunities to associate with other troops, and this is important. A lot of units get very territorial, okay, and they shouldn't, because we're in this for the youth. And they get a little, especially the adult leaders, get a little sensitive when you bring in another unit that's separate, because it may take some of their scouts. That's their fear. And then, of course, the 3x3 is so small, they're fearful that they'll be taken away to another unit, and there will no longer be that 3x3 requirement. That's the thing. But usually with a 3x3 micro unit, they're so remote, okay? They just don't have those opportunities to visit with other units, unless it's a camporee or something of that nature. But they need to take advantage of those things and see those examples so that they can grow into a bigger unit. Now, I do think that the 3x3 micro unit is a good idea. It's a good place to start. It's not the place where units that are struggling end up, okay? These are new units. These are for new units to service youth that may not have an opportunity. So that's really where the 3x3s come in. And your council is the one to contact. They're the ones that actually run those. Typically, when the council's doing that, the district is involved too. So there's a commissioner, there's a district commissioner, there's a council commissioner. There are other people that will be involved, and they will help out as far as that the charter construct and the committee construct. That's handled by the council, and that's something that's very important. So there's limitations. There's very limitations on a small unit, but it's a seed unit. That's the way I'm thinking of it. It eventually is going to get those things and move on and grow and service more youth. That's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing, and they won't be with the council. They'll be chartered. They'll be with they have a committee and all that stuff. But it just helps them get going. It's the beginning, okay? It's the acorn from the tree, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm sure you have thoughts about this, so feel free to put in the comments your ideas about the 3x3 micro units, and that's a pack, a troop, a crew, or a ship. It's an amazing thing. You do a lot for scouting, okay? And I am so proud and thankful that you're involved. No matter what level you are, I think it's wonderful that you're watching these videos, getting information, and maybe even, helping your unit grow and look at things a little differently. That's a wonderful thing. Keep up that really good hard work that you do. And the Scouts, we are building a better tomorrow. This is the renaissance of Scouting America. We're going to have a great time, and it's going to grow. And it may not grow fast, which is not always a good thing. Growing slow is good. Steady growth, that's what we need. And we're going to put things right and really make things better for all youth to build better American leaders for tomorrow. And that's a huge thing. If you have a chance, I do have a video about the beginnings of Cub Scouts. Check it out. That's a great one. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.